Hi, I'm Emilia.
And I'm Yvonne. Together, we wrote a book on female friendships, and boy, do we have questions.
We're here to continue the conversation and help women to navigate, cultivate, and celebrate female friendships.
This is Girl Friendships.
Today, we are going to talk about kids. And why kids? Because sometimes when your friends start having children, it's going to impact your relationship.
Yeah, definitely.
If we started with me, when my friends, most of them were having children, personally, true confession, I'm the last one in my family. I didn't grow up around children a lot, and so children were annoyances. In terms of me personally having children, I thought about the idea of having children in my future, but being pregnant, babies didn't appeal to me at all.
Yeah.
So when friends would be pregnant, when they would come around with their newborn, I'm not touching that kid. Right? It's just not me. I don't like babies. And so, I was married for maybe 4 years, and my husband said, well, are we going to have kids? And I'm going, what's the rush? Of course, I got married older. But it was just the thought, to me, babies taking over your bodies like little parasites. Whatever. But I didn't like the idea of not having children, but I just didn't like babies.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when my friends would come by with their babies and their children, to me, children were just noisy and they were annoyances. And if they were going to bring their children to visit me before I had my kids, I would probably try to do an outdoor activity because not sleepless, very strong.
They can be, yeah. So definitely can be.
What's your view on children?
Yeah, so for me, I feel like ever since I was a kid, I liked kids. So I remember even being 7 years old, and at one point I wanted to babysit our neighbors, and they're both a year and 2 years younger than me, and my mom tried to gently tell me that I was not old enough to babysit other children. But I always just felt really connected with kids. I love holding a baby. So I was definitely excited when my friends started to have kids and I could meet their babies and I could see kind of their bump progress and all that stuff. I was definitely really, really excited about that. Yeah. And I think for me, because it's always been such a dream of mine, for sure, there were moments where I wondered to myself, oh my gosh, is this ever going to happen for me? Mm-hmm. There definitely was something where, I don't know why, but I always wanted to be pregnant at the same time as a friend. And, and that with each baby my friends had, that dream kept slipping further and further away. So I think that there's always a bit of that subconscious benchmark, which I know that I've talked about before, where you kind of want to know that you are on time and that you're lining up with your peers and you're not behind and you're not going to get left behind, right? And you're not going to be left out.
We're doing that tracking, right? I didn't even think about it. What we're doing that tracking.
Yeah.
All my friends are getting married. Oh, maybe I should if I want to be in a relationship that. Oh, all my friends are graduated from university or they've got master's degree. Maybe I should step it up. So.
It's kind of when babies or toddlers are learning to talk, right? And they're hitting these milestones and their moms are okay, are they hitting the milestones at the right time? We can sometimes, and maybe this doesn't go for everybody. Maybe this is something that's me and maybe other people can relate to this, but just that idea of hitting those milestones, right? And then doing that math of, okay, if I didn't hit this milestone yet, when will I hit this milestone? And will I meet my person in the next year and that kind of thing. And I also think that for women, there's this immense pressure to have kids by a certain age, and that we're all told that, we were born with all our eggs and all these kinds of things.
And the clock is ticking.
Yeah. And, it's really, I've actually been learning over the last couple of years and changing my opinions and ideas on this, where there seems to be actually very, very few studies that do suggest that mammals can continue to produce eggs, and that it's not just a fixed number that you're born with and they all age with you. And then the other thing that I wanted to mention on this is
the things you read.
the things I read. Clearly, I have always wanted to be a mom. I'm very, very passionate about this. I'm done with the fear mongering that's done on women, because I think that it impacted my friendships in the past, you know, and it impacted my sense of well-being, you know, when I felt like I was behind my friends.
Right.
And yeah, so the other thing that I wanted to mention is that, you know, eggs are actually in a state of suspended maturation. So they're not all like aging with us and drinking what we're drinking and eating what we're eating. It's only like a 3-month window.
You and your geriatric eggs. I can't get out there.
Oh no. No,
What do you mean you want me to swim? I can't swim.
That's not a great word. I do not appreciate that word. No.
I rebuke that word.
I rebuke that word. I'm done with the fear mongering. I'm done with the word geriatric. It's being revised. I've heard that it's being revised. And anyway, a fun fact, women who have kids over the age of 35 are something like twice as likely to live to the age of 100 or something. So
Really?
Anyway, there's some really, really, really positive research that I wish had, you know, come out sooner, because this was such a big thing on my mind for a long time. And I love meeting, you know, every single one of my friends' babies, and you know, seeing their kids grow up, and that's always been such a joyous thing for me. And I've definitely made their happiness my happiness. And oh my gosh, like my friends' kids love me, and that is such a huge joy for me.
Right.
Yeah.
But what happens when, because I would be the friend.
Yeah.
Like, I would be happy for you because you had children. That's fine. I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah.
I just don't want those little beasts to come to my house and trash it. Right? Because I do. Sometimes we all have different rules around parenting and how we should parent children. Case in point, long before we had kids, we had some friends over and they had 2 youngsters. Let's say they were like 4 and 6 or 6 and 8. I can't remember what their ages were. But we had a good lunch, and then, you know, the kids wanted to go explore. They went to the basement and they were playing. Now, on a shelf high on the wall, my husband, for years, put together model airplanes.
Mm-hmm.
It's a painstaking task, and it takes a while.
Yeah.
And anyways, these kids were down there. Ask me how they even saw these things. Well, they could see them, but how they even got up on the bar and climbed up on and took down these model planes. Anyway, long and short of it, they were trashed.
Mm-hmm.
And the parents did nothing.
That's terrible. Yeah.
We have not since then invited them. We
Kids
are
are
still
probably all
friends.
grown up.
We'll come visit you. The kids are all grown up, but I still hold that against them. I also had, you know, so sometimes, me personally, like, if you're not going to discipline your child, like from trashing my house or whatever, bullying other kids, and you're there, I'm going to judge you based on that. Like, I'm just thinking this could come between our friendship.
Yeah.
So maybe I would have to find another place for us to get together without children.
Yeah.
To do that. But yeah, I think because I never really felt that maternal urge to have children, or really desired to have a baby. Like, I never saw a baby and went, oh, look at that cute little baby, and start naming faces. That was never me.
Whereas me, if I meet somebody with a baby, like let's say I'm at a party, someone brings a baby, I'm like, okay, is it socially acceptable yet for me to ask to hold their baby?
Oh, okay. Meanwhile, I would be, if you see me holding somebody's baby,
Yeah.
it's probably because if
You're
it's
running
a
for Prime Minister.
grandchild. Running for Prime Minister, that would be a good one. It might be a grandchild, and I guess I should bond with this child.
Yeah.
Or I'm thinking, oh, that mother looks really tired.
Oh, okay.
And I will hold this baby, and you, baby, will not cry.
Yeah.
I'm actually pretty good with children. And they love me.
Yeah. I'll bet you were.
I don't want you drooling on the other one. They smell, So I have 2 children, just for the listeners. Just so you know, I have 2 children. I didn't go through the baby thing. I did not like being pregnant, not one bit of it. And I did not like the giving birth. Well, I don't know if anybody does. And I did not like the first 2 years. Like, that was just like, ew. But I actually pictured them. Most people don't like 2-year-olds or whatever, because they're starting to exert their little personality. I actually like that stage, because then I can engage with them. But the drooly, dependent, why are you crying? Why are you crying? What do I need to do now? I felt like I was in a perpetual state of anxiety for like 3 years.
I believe that. Yeah. Not even sure.
So,
please don't cry. I ruined my day. I'm just having this.
I'm just here. I'm just here. I had 2 hours sleep. And so, one of the people who contributed to this book, this is what she had to say about parenting. She said, for me, it meant a lot of resetting of friendship priorities. And a lot of it culminated in the last couple of years upon the birth of my second child. 2 kids meant I needed to refocus more energy on my family. My ability to travel and see friends dramatically diminished. I felt let down that some of my friends didn't reciprocate when I needed them more. Parenting can sometimes be isolating and lonely because it's so crazy-making and full-on. Prioritizing friendships with folks who may have only 1 child or older children, has been challenging. Mm-hmm. This is from one person. So here's some of the things that she's saying in here, right? It was kind of okay with 1 child.
Yeah.
Or if you're, as you were saying before, if you're not having your children in lockstep with your friends, then next thing you know, you're getting together, but you have a baby and they have a 5-year-old. Well, those kids are never gonna play together for a long time, right? Or now you've got 2 and they've got 1, and it's like a whole other set of dynamics again. Because now you with the 2, you don't have as much time as you might have had with 1.
Yeah.
Even though I have found from good experience that 2, by the time they start playing together, is actually better than 1.
Yeah, I believe
because with the 1 we have to, are you going to be with, the child? Or so it's one of us being playmates.
Exactly. Yeah.
Meanwhile, once our son got a sibling in Jessica a bit, we could let them play together.
Until they started fighting.
And then when someone, like I said, did you try to work it out? You need to go work it out. So sometimes that happens. So when you want to have children and it's not happening, and then your friends are having children, you're basically saying you can be happy for your friends.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I think for some people that could be a challenge.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because what you're doing seemingly so effortlessly is it's not happening for me, even though that's what they may want for themselves.
Yeah.
So I have still a friend, who, when I was having children, had child number 1. She was very happy for me. I mean, I wasn't happy for myself, but it's just what I had to go through. But, she celebrated, and then she ended up having surgery when my firstborn, when I was on mat leave. So I said, I'll bring the baby and we'll come up and I'll take care of you, right? So literally we got into like a routine for the week I stayed with her, I'd wake up in the morning and she's lying down because she had an incision on her tummy. Wow. And so she would hold the baby, I'll make breakfast, and I would just watch them there and they're making faces and she's just loving this kid. I was just talking to her about it the other day and she was saying, oh, those were such great days and I'm wanting this. But, by the time now I got to child number 2, they're really trying to have children and nothing is happening, nothing is happening. They've tried this, they've tried this, they've tried that, and nothing is happening. And so when I got pregnant with my second, I'm going, oh, how do I tell?
Yeah.
How do I tell this to my friend? Because this is a sore spot.
Yeah.
And she was so happy for me. Like she was saying, oh, I'm so glad, this is great, and I really learned to really appreciate my friend at a whole deeper level. Regardless of whatever she might have been feeling in the back end of her head, none of it came across. She was just happy to be with my kids as if they were her own. Eventually they adopted and we were there to celebrate with them with the brand new baby. But, it made me think, would I be equally happy? Sometimes things happen. I don't know. I've just never had to be tested in that area.
Yeah.
But when our friends have the pleasant events in their life to celebrate, do we celebrate with them from a place of pure joy? And it's not to judge one way or the other. Sometimes we're feeling like, I'm so jealous, like I want what you have for myself too. And sometimes having children can change our friendships.
Yeah. And even from that perspective, I know one of my friends, she had a bit of a falling out with another friend who felt that she should be able to talk to her more easily with her little one around, and she was getting mad that my friend was distracted in the conversation.
People don't understand about the distraction.
And it's like, I find that really interesting because for me, that was a change that I accepted really easily, was being around my friends and, and their kids and the demands that placed on them, right? Especially at a certain age. I don't know, I felt very comfortable and normal with that, whereas I guess other people think that they should... that they should just have the ability to do everything and have everything the way that it was. So,
but that's the thing, though. We often don't know that there's sides to our personality that will come out. Sometimes they shock and surprise us, right? So until you're tested in that area, you don't know. I think I knew that I didn't really like to have children, but there's certain views you hold or expectations you have of your life that has never been tested until it is.
Yeah.
And then you discover, oh, I didn't know that I'm always happy with this side of myself I'm seeing in this situation. But I didn't know that laid resident in my personality.
See, I find that so interesting because... I know that that's true about a lot of people. They just can't imagine something before it happens or before they're tested or before they're put in that situation in some way. And I don't know if it's because I have a high level of empathy, but I feel as though I can very easily put myself in the shoes of someone else or another situation and then kind of examine for myself whether or not that's something that I want. And the interesting thing about that is sometimes it can hold you back because you say to yourself like, ooh, I don't know, would I really be good at that?
Right.
Could I be able to handle that? And it's not that I, without going on a tangent, it's not that I'm not good in stressful situations or something, but except for medical emergencies, I'm really terrible with medical emergencies. But I find it so interesting that some people, they can't imagine what something will be like until they get there.
Well, I think I know what I would be like in certain situations. And then I end up surprising myself because I am not behaving the way I played it out in my head.
Yeah.
So that's something to keep in mind. The other thing, which is, what I said earlier, it's still bugging my brain. If Stephanie dies in your female friendship group or whatever, it's not a problem. I'm dropping everything and I'm running. If you get diagnosed with an illness or something, I'm dropping everything and running. But it's in the happy moments of our lives that I'm finding that we have these feelings sometimes come up that kind of catch us off guard. Can I be equally happy for you when you get that relationship in your life that I want for myself? I don't want your relationship, but I want for myself. Can I be equally happy? Why don't I rally around your happiness the same way I rally around your grief?
Yeah.
So what is it about human nature? Am I to say human nature? Let me say Yvonne nature.
So not just Yvonne. Yeah.
So I won't generalize. But there's something about it as to where when our friends experience blessings and plenty and good things happening, it makes us kind of feel, why isn't this happening for me? Or we go to the terrible place like, must be nice that they can have all this money, or they can and my head is shaking now, going as I say this. But what is it about us that make us unable to consistently, unless you're a really, really good person, be glad for our friends when the bounty's happening? Fair enough, or saying not the deficits.
Yeah, so it's I know we've talked about this question before, and I've definitely had a big transformation around my ability to be happy more for my friends, even when something that I really, really want isn't also happening for me. And I think that it's so worthy of examination, because very often when we're not happy for someone else, it can be because somehow we think that experience or that opportunity is being withheld from us, and not necessarily by our friend, but we think, oh, I'll never be able to have that, or I'll never get promoted, or I'll never have a baby, or or I'll never find the love of my life. And I think I definitely think it's human nature to compare ourselves with others, but I find that people who don't have a hang up around a certain thing happening for them are more easily able to be happy for their friends. And in 2018, I had a really, really hard year in my life, and I decided to enter therapy and examine some of these things. Like, why could I rally around my friend that was grieving more easily than I could, rally around my friend that was celebrating? And what really came up for me was that I didn't believe certain things were possible for me. And I think since then, I've become so much more aware and detached also from any limiting beliefs that come up for me around what's possible in my life as I see what's happening for my friends.
But what do you mean by detached? Detached as in you do not feel, you don't allow yourself to feel anymore?
No. I think it's really, really important to feel what you're feeling and to acknowledge what you're feeling, acknowledge what's coming up for you. I like to do a lot of journaling around that as well. And I like to say, like, why am I upset by this? What's coming up for me? What are the thoughts that are going through my mind? What are the, deep fears that are getting uncovered here? Right. And so it's not about not feeling, but when I say detached, I just mean I'm less likely to believe every thought that comes up for me.
Okay.
Yes, that's what I mean by detached. It's, I have a higher level of awareness now of the things coming up for me, and I have a better ability to question whether or not those limiting beliefs are true.
Okay. And I know we went a little bit off in a tangent with the question I asked, because we're talking about the impact of children on our female friendships. But it does, what you said really resonate, because you don't know sometimes that, like for me, even though I didn't want to have children, but I saw them in my future, so I knew I had to bite the bullet at one point, so to speak. But if say I tried then to have children and couldn't, because you don't know until you try, right? Of course, yeah. Or what things are lurking in your body that's just gonna come back to haunt you. Yeah. Then could I get to? at some point you have to make peace with what is.
Yeah, maybe.
But I just hope I would be able to equally celebrate with my friends the way that particular friend celebrated with me, and just be happy for them, even though what they're experiencing is something I want and may not ever get.
Yeah.
That takes a whole level of goodness and maturity and
for sure.
self-reflection and whatever. Children gonna impact our friendships, because sometimes seeing your friends with children, or seeing yourself with children, or you not having any time to spend as much with your friends, well, while you're having children, and then their kids are grown and yours are, all of those things are gonna impact your friendships. But as we've said before, and we'll say it again, if you've entrenched good, deep roots, see it as a season, and the season will pass. Maybe you can't get together as often, but any mother of young children could always appreciate a visit where you come by and just bring her cake or a cup of tea or something like that. Yeah. That's something I could do for my friend. Say, I was just thinking about you. Or for me, who don't like children, this would be a big sacrifice. It means I'm going to come and take your kids to the park. For 2 hours.
Yes.
And you go do whatever. Go soak in the bath. There'll be no fires. I promise I will not bring them back till 2 hours.
Yeah.
That would be a gift I could give to my friend.
Yeah. And the other thing that I wanted to share too, just for anybody listening who might be going through this, where your friends are having kids, like that's something you want for yourself, and for whatever reason, it hasn't happened yet. One of the best beliefs that I've cultivated over the past few years is that if there's a desire on my heart, that I'm meant to bring it to fruition in some way. Mm-hmm. And I think that this has been one of the most supportive beliefs that I've cultivated. And it's really helped me to celebrate my friends and be happy for my friends, because instead of believing that I'm being shown what I don't have or what I can't have, I'm being shown what is possible for me. And so I just wanted to leave anybody kind of struggling with that, with those words of advice and hopefully comfort.
Yeah, and to also encourage each of us to find our better selves within each of us. I can acknowledge that I'm feeling jealousy.
Yeah.
Or envy or longing or whatever. But I can say, yes, I wish, and I had that, and I'm feeling badly, and I'm jealous and whatever. But I can appeal to my better self to say, but yeah, acknowledge it, but I'm still going to be there, and I'm going to support my friend, regardless of how I'm feeling.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what we do.
Yeah.
That's what friends are for. All right. So that's it. Kids and friendship. We'll see you next time when we'll talk about when there is conflict in your relationships.
Yeah. And thanks again for listening.
You've been listening to the Girl Friendships Podcast with Yvonne and
Emilia. Thanks for listening. You can find us wherever you listen to your favorite podcast.
Leave a comment, please, to let us know your thoughts.
And come back next time for another episode of Girl Friendships.